Yeah, buddy.
What's up, everybody? Right now, I'm in the Overland ambulance. I'm in Clarkdale right now, going to a brewery to meet a gentleman who I met before. I've known him, but it's his birthday. It's his 81st birthday, to be exact. And he's kind of like, I guess, a Jerome historian, if you will. Just a really cool guy, and hopefully we get to chat and you guys get to hear some of his stories and think he's as interesting as I do. So let's go see if we can find him. My first time walking around down here. Here's the brewery right here. I think he might be in there. Burgers, sandwiches. What a great little town. Got some Mexican food over there. Let's go inside. It was awesome, but it was busy. And so we're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna go to his house and talk. When we're sitting in there was a band setting up to play, and I looked up, and I'm gonna put a picture of their band website on Facebook, and then I'll put a link in the description. But the lead singer, Winter, is her name, and I knew her from many years ago, and we used to like hang out at, like, we didn't hang out together, we were just in the same places in Sedona, and she used to play music there, and it was really good to see her still doing music. So it's called the Faye Band. I'll insert a picture here, and then go click the link in the description and check him out. Yeah, let's go to Gary's house. His house is amazing. I can't wait to show you guys that too. This dude has got the best stories, man. You guys are gonna be stoked. Yeah, you got a beautiful spot here, Mr. Gary. Look at that view.
It's all about the view.
I like that you've collected and made some of this artwork of all the old stuff you find.
Yeah, this is all a dump. This was all laying out here at the dump, and when the wind blows on it,
it's like a giant wind chime, huh? That's awesome.
And we get a lot of wind.
There's that view, Gary.
This is, I sit out here most of the time.
Yep.
Like my hangout.
Look at that. You see all the mountains in Sedona. That's what that is back there, right?
Flagstaff. That's Sedona right out here.
Yep.
That's the San Francisco Peaks, Flagstaff.
Oh, yep.
That's Sycamore Canyon and the Verde River. Those red buttes right over there at the confluence of Sycamore Verde, they're full of Indian ruins right in there. If you ever get a chance to.
Yeah, I got a friend who's really into that. He's got a YouTube channel, Off-Grid Backcountry Adventures, and he goes and looks at a lot of that stuff.
I got a little rig like that, but it holds my cell phone.
Oh, really? Test. Let's just put this little mic on here now, Gary.
Oh, okay.
Just say like test. Say test, Gary.
Test.
All right, cool. All right, everybody. I'm sitting here with who I've been talking to you about, Mr. Gary, and we have a couple stories we want to talk to you. And I'm super excited for you guys to meet this guy. I met him through work, and we just kind of hit it off. He's an amazing dude, and here he is, Mr. Gary. How you doing, Gary?
I'm fine, Happy.
It's kind of funny we're doing like a formal kind of interview thing, but Gary, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and stuff?
Yeah, born in Wisconsin, and 1944, moved to California and the West, and been, I don't know, educated in maybe 15 different grade schools and high schools and stuff, and they were either parochial Catholic or public, so I was going back and forth between them, and very mobile, very typical Southern California guy in the end. And then I moved to Jerome here
What year was that?
in 1969, just after I got back from Vietnam. I was going to college, Cal State Long Beach, got a degree in art, and started flying a hang glider and studying aerodynamics for the artist. And so I was making hang gliders with Chandel Corporation and making air-driven sculpture and kinetic big butterflies that flap their wings and giant flowers and stuff like that. And then I ended up spending my entire life decorating festivals all over the world. I traveled from here, and I didn't really. I mean, I've owned this place for a long, but the amount of time I occupied it is much less than the time I owned it.
Yeah.
Because
So what year was it you moved here?
69.
1969. And Jerome right now is still kind of a small ghost town.
Well, it's on a steep hill, and there's no place for it to grow. And if it did grow, do you know how much it costs to build on a hill?
I know.
I mean, you
right?
better start adding the multipliers. It's not.
But that's
not,
cool because I think how many people are there here still that have been here as long as you?
Well, it has a very stable population, but I'm probably one of the older residents.
Yeah.
I've been here 60 years.
And your house is super cool. You got the best view in the world.
Yeah, right now today is the anniversary of Katrina.
Yeah.
That hurricane, and when Katrina hit, I saw this building on the beach. It lived through the hurricane. All the other structures around were devastated, but this is a real tough. Triangles are tougher than squares. This is an 8-sided building, and
it's an octagon, which is just a bunch of triangles put together, right?
yeah, it's eight big triangles, and it's glue lam timber, and it's often used for a lighthouse on the coast. It's often referred to as the Carolina Beach House. But I thought if it could put up with that heavy water, it could put up with heavy wind.
Yeah.
And we get heavy wind. I mean, we get ridiculous wind. I do here, more so than anywhere else, because as air rushes over the top of the hill, it speeds up.
Yeah.
So these big pots that are here, they were blowing around on the deck a couple days ago.
Oh, really? Got that bad, huh?
Of course, that one's got wheels on it, but a couple of them don't, and they were tipped over, and yeah, it blew around real bad.
And I just showed a little bit ago the view over here, and it's amazing. You said that you could see Sedona, Sycamore Canyon, San Francisco.
Yeah, you're looking at Sycamore Canyon and the Verde River confluence, the way the camera's pointed now, and then off to the right, you see the bluffs. That's called the Mogollon Rim. That's the outer rim of the Grand Canyon. And the Colorado Plateau comes down here and ends right here in Jerome. The mountain behind me is the last high point on it, Mingus Mountain.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but and it was it's always been populated. There were 30,000 Indians here when the pioneers came across the country, and of course, we weren't very kind to them.
Yeah. Today is also your birthday.
Yeah, 81.
81. I went and met, as you guys saw a little bit earlier in the video, I went over to the brewery where he was at, and you were having a beer with another firefighter, because that's something we haven't even mentioned, that you worked as a firefighter and a medic here, but you were a medic in Vietnam. So, and you like art, and like we just hit it off, man. And it's like, next thing you know, now here we are hanging out, having a little conversation, telling some stories and stuff, and enjoying each other's time. And he invited me up, and I thank you for inviting me up, Gary. That's really cool to invite me up on your birthday. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. So I wanted everybody to like not only know like we actually got along and hit it off, and like I kind of feel like we're building up a friendship off of just a random meeting like that. You know what I mean?
Well, we have a lot of common.
Yeah, we do. That's cool. I really dig it. And I would like just looking at your house. I'm like, man, this guy's gotta be cool because like that's such a unique place, you know. And a lot of people always say, why do you always look for weird houses to live in, you know? And it's just characters what I'm
Yeah.
looking for, something
What
neat.
I lived here 60 years, and this is only 20 years old.
Yeah,
And people visited me, and I'm involved in my own life so much that I was. People would come here, and I'd be talking about me and pointing out my toys and you know and stuff, and everybody would turn around and see that view you just looked at and say, "But what's that?" And I finally got the message. It's not about me being here.
yeah,
It's about that you can actually see so much from one single spot,
yeah,
and it's a it was a special thing for me when I left Vietnam and came here, because a lot of vets seem to need windows in their houses. They need to look out. They don't want to be trapped. You don't want to be stuck in a, and here your mind follows your eyes, and you're in the clouds, and you know
I think that's probably the worst thing you can do to a vet is to confine them almost. You know what I mean?
it's terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
especially for me. I mean, in Vietnam, I was on a helicopter all the time. I would hate, you know,
So
I would hate to try to figure out. I realized just the other day that the only way I could actually figure out what I did every day was to get the military situation reports from my officer, which every morning your officer turns in a sit rep,
yeah,
and it's simple stuff, but it would be much easier for me to improve on my narrative, which I finished. I already wrote about what I remembered about Vietnam, but those memories don't come back with exact dates. I mean, was this what happened on your birthday, August 29th, or when did it happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember that they happened. It happened in sequence. And
So speaking of that though, like Vietnam and stuff, like you mentioned that it took you a while before you realized that you had a unique experience in Vietnam, right?
oh
What
well,
year
when I
was it
got
that
back,
you went in?
I went in. I went in the service in '65.
Okay.
And I
You
got to
became a combat
Vietnam
medic.
in December of '65.
Okay.
And so I spent the entire year of '66 there. And that was before it was actually a war. It was called a police action. And there weren't that many. It wasn't fully involved. It was more, we were setting up there. They were, General Giap, who was Ho Chi Minh's successor,
Okay.
was commanding the war back then, and he told all his people, I don't want you to engage. I want you to go down to the major cities, and we're going to attack them all at once. That happened in 1967 in the Tet Offensive, and I was there before that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there when the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
You know.
But you had a really cool experience though.
Oh yeah, I had.
What like where you got dropped off and you said you had some interactions with some tribesmen and were able to do some good stuff too. Right?
I was moving around with General Westmoreland and S2 intelligence, and we were trying to figure out where the flow. They were trying to figure out where the flow. I was just the medic on the job. They were trying to figure out where the flow of Viet Cong was, where they were moving, what they were doing, and they were, in essence, it was day and night. And if it's so literal, day and night, that you don't realize they operated all night and we operated all day, and so we never saw them. We never saw, and they operated not only all night, but they operated largely underground.
Yeah.
Cu Chi was a multi-story city underground when they finally discovered where it was. But where I was in the jungles, they called it the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and a lot of it was underground. You wouldn't see them unless you managed to see them coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
And
What were some of the tribes that you interacted with there?
there's 28 different tribes, and I'm not sure about all of them, but I know for sure the Raid and the Jari were two tribes that I worked with, and we would go in with intelligence. We'd fly in and say, look, You got anybody that's sick? We've got a doctor here that can help you. And I stand up like I'm the doctor. Baxi Dawi, they call it, you know. And so the Vietnamese would say, oh, I'm sick, you know, and I bandaged their ulcers and sent them into hospitals for treatment, even sometimes back to the United States, depending on what they had, you know. And so I treated them and delivered their babies. And
that's cool. You did some cool stuff there too, like not just, you know, what everybody hears about, all the stuff they consider bad stuff. You know what I mean? You were there like helping sick people and delivering babies.
You know, for me, it wasn't a daily murder thing. That isn't to say there wasn't a lot of shooting going on. There were tracers around the helicopters all the time, and flying in helicopters at rice paddy level, at 120 miles an hour, is an adrenaline rush that sets you up for adrenaline for the rest of your life, you know. And so I came back and started flying a hang glider and do it. And so I am riding my bicycle down this mountain behind me, which is a category 4, as the road bikers will tell you. I can descend from 7,200 feet down to 2,000 feet in 11 minutes on a bicycle.
What fun road.
And it is. And I mean, I managed to stay alive doing it. I mean, it is very dangerous.
You were saying that one of those tribes in Vietnam, like they didn't really care for the North or South Vietnamese either. They were like their own entity almost.
Yeah, those tribes, the Montagnard tribes, are in stature small people.
Yeah.
The men are, 4 to 5 feet tall, and they're built like bodybuilders, and they're tough. And they use crossbows and dart guns and poison darts to do their job, kill and get food. Punji steaks and all these things. These were all punji pits. All these, the jungle they have rigged the jungle with traps.
Yeah.
And you better watch what you're doing.
Yeah, you said they're mean little suckers too, right? Everybody was afraid of them, even the Vietnamese.
Well, you know, for 2,000 years they were adversarial with the Vietnamese, with the North and South, with the Indonesians, with the Japanese, with the French, with the Americans, and now they're in charge of themselves, and the Chinese don't want to mess with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just...
and I like the way you described their valleys, like where all the tribes were. They were like in the valleys, and it was super steep terrain, and you talked about all the different...
The geology there is a mountain range that runs the length of the Vietnamese country, and the mountain range is compressed. Ocean plates have squeezed it, and the peaks are still up there and the valleys are still down there. It didn't close it. But you've got, when you're flying in a helicopter and you look down in front of you, and for 20 miles both ways, there are giant peaks 5,000 meters high, running from north to south through the country, and 5,000 canyons and peaks, and it's like an orange grove. And you know, to get lost in there is easy. To move around on foot, you're literally climbing. You're using your hands as much as your feet to climb those hills. And
you said those tribal people would just scale that thing like nothing, huh? Because they're from there and they...
Well, they live there. This is their backyard. You know, it's like they didn't need a map. I'll tell you that. But the Vietnamese are afraid of them. In fact, now that the communists have won the country, they've actually chased a lot of them out and imprisoned them and attempted to conquer them. And I don't know what the state of that is, but there's an enclave of the tribes people I dealt with in the Carolinas in America.
Really?
They've been transported here, and those that could make it, and that's...
So you had mentioned that possibly going back, and I'm going to close your door before it slams.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly going back and revisiting it and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool, especially if you could get somewhere to that area where you were actually at, you know?
There's no way I could reproduce the ability to fly around in a helicopter and see it that way. But what I discovered reading about the country is there's now a continental railway that runs from one end of the country to the other. So you could take the train and just sit on it. There'd be a lot of walking, you know, when it stopped and seeing places. But it's a very interesting country. I mean, it rained 1,500 inches a year, 12 inches, 10 inches a month. And
Good.
it actually comes in 2 rainy seasons, which means that it rained more than the average during those periods. So it's verdant. It's the greenest, and even though my memories are of war, I still have the most vivid memories of the most beautiful jungle, the plants. You just, you know, seeing pine growth here in America and the kind of, flora we have is nothing compared to, the beauty and the flowers and
That's that artist in you that was
you know,
able to pick it out and admire it, you
and,
know?
and in the jungle, you just the amazing things. One of the things was at night when you were moving around at night, the roots were in the mulch on the top of the ground, and the roots when you broke the bark off them, they glowed. They were bioluminescent,
Oh, wow.
chemoluminescent. We used to put a little root in the back of our helmet elastic band, and so that you could follow the guy
In front of
in
you.
front of you at night.
Man, that's cool.
And of course, the rules of jungle warfare is you don't move at night. But you know what? All the rules get broke all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got to be somewhere. That's all
Um,
there is to it.
I'm going to post a picture right here, and it's a picture of you getting pinned a medal, I think, right?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that medal that you're receiving in that picture?
Well, that one was a Bronze Star, and what happened was uh, we were coming off the coastal flatlands and going up through the mountains in near the DMZ, and the we got to a place in this pass, and I heard some guys moaning. Somebody who was in a unit in front of me got trapped and shot, and I called up to the sergeant in front of me and said, "Hey, I hear something. I'm going to go down for him." So I went down in this pit, and it was right in front of a bunker, 40 feet from 50 caliber North Vietnamese position in a concrete bunker.
Oh, man.
And right in their firing range. But it was a little depression in the soil, and there were 2 guys down there, and one guy that it was a quad 50, and when they shot the dirt on both sides of him, and the dirt had penetrated his clothing and his skin, and he was bleeding, and the only thing that stopped the bleeding was his clothes scabbed up. And he was laying there and moaning and stuff, and there was another guy who was shot up too. So I went down in there, and I stayed there for 8 hours. I couldn't get him out. Every time we'd move, man, bullets are flying. Shot my helmet off. Shot 250 caliber rounds through my helmet. Spun it like a, And so after 8 hours, and I, in my mind, this all took 15 minutes. I mean, I could tell you how I felt and what I thought. That stuff's just, your mind is a great safety mechanism. If it's bad enough, you don't remember it, don't
Yep.
push it. You don't need to.
Exactly, yeah.
But so finally they waited 8 hours, and General Westmoreland circling up above and stuff. And I suppose a lot of guys were in as much trouble or more than I was, but the brass wasn't watching.
Yeah, right.
So after the First World War, the Library of Congress just put this information out to the military. Please submit your experiences to us in
Okay.
writing. You can submit to us pictures, paintings. We don't care. We want your input. And so a lot of guys, and recounting a war is a painful experience. You want me to you want me to tell you what happened in my divorce too?
Yeah, right.
It's just not a party. So, but as time went on, and I first started writing this stuff, I would be manic. I mean, I could sit and think of the good things, treating the mountain yards and the good things, and then within the next few seconds, I'm panicking, and so I could actually cry and laugh while talking about this
Yeah.
when I first started. I'm much more stable in that regard now. I don't have to.
And we had a little conversation about that earlier about about, you know, just me being prior military and also fire like you were, and you know, people always ask questions like, "Hey, what's the worst thing you ever seen?" or anything. But we like to tell the stories of like the funny things or the good stories that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, you know, you can depress a crowd. I can tell you some stuff, and you're not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
So,
But and there was one other story I wanted to touch on real quick. You told me a tiger story, and what kind of tiger was that? And like I said, I looked at the picture of the tiger you have in your book, and like most people would look and say, "Oh, it's a Bengal tiger," because we're not educated
well,
on
Bengal is an
tigers.
Indian name. It's
Yeah.
India. It's a different part of Asia. But we just call them I mean, I don't really know. I'm not, you know,
A tiger specialist
yeah, I'm
either.
not a specialist in it. All I know is
But you saw one.
this animal is hundreds of pounds, and I would say as big as 3 or 4 men,
Yeah.
big men. And we stopped in a place and bivouacked for the night, which I mean, we just kind of formed a circle and pointed outward, didn't dig in or anything like that. And the guy next to me, his name was Funger. We were all sitting there. He got our backpacks on yet. We were carrying shoulder-mounted packs that clip on your chest. You know, we didn't have the real good stuff like the hip-mounted, you know. And we had cotton jerseys and leather boots and no jungle boots. This was before it was a war. Anyhow, so this tiger jumps into the middle of the circle. We're all defensive and trying to get it down for the night, and it grabs Funger by his backpack. And in the same motion as he jumped in, he leaped back out with Funger dangling under him, and you could hear him crashing through the bush and stuff. And we're in triple canopy jungle, and you know, I mean, you need a machete to walk through it, right? It's not like you just take a so anyhow, excuse my cat here. He's insistent.
He knew we were talking about his ancestors. He's like, "Oh, you talking about the tigers, huh? Here I am."
So anyhow, this tiger leaped back out, and I guess it really bit into his backpack real hard and tore the straps. And all of a sudden, Funger comes running back through towards us, and we're locked and loaded and gonna, you know, shoot that tiger if he comes through. And tiger never came through. I guess we laughed. He said, well, he must have tasted Funger's underwear. But that was one of the good laughs. You know, you don't have a lot of great experiences in a war.
Yeah. And so you came after that. You did all that amazing stuff that you talked about with, you know, your art and festivals, and what was it, the '84 Olympics or '86?
'84. I decorated the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles. I came back, and I had this. The guys I came back with were around some of them, you know, and we like flying, right? And hang gliding was just taking off. It was a new sport, and I was in Long Beach, and you could hang glide off the bluffs on the ocean.
Nice.
You know, and Torrey Pines, and anyhow, there's lots of great places to fly. So we were flying hang gliders, and I was taking art classes. I took aerodynamics from the artist, from a guy named Krishnamurti, and we're talking about, well, what can you do? Kinetic art is a form of modern sculpture, and for me, it was like, oh, I was working for Chandel Corporation designing hang gliders, Regalo hang gliders, single surface cloth triangles, and we were beginning to realize that double surface airfoils were where it was at. You know, that's the way airplanes are. You know,
Yeah.
and so we started making different hang gliders and improving my art, making it work better all the time. And so I made kinetic art, and the sponsors of the Olympics, what was it? The Jurdy Group, Sussman Prasia, Deborah Sussman and Paul Prasia made the Jurdy Group, and they drove through my Long Beach gallery, and they got out of their cars looking at my stuff saying, well, what's this? And I said, well, it's mechanical flowers and butterflies. you want to decorate the 84 Olympics? I didn't send a proposal to anybody. I didn't call anybody on the phone. I didn't brag to anybody.
It was
And
fate, man.
it's just like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And so that.
And then you did another thing you told me about, and you sent me a picture of it. So if you send me a picture of the one from the 84 Olympics,
Yeah.
I'll post that in the video so they can see that one that you sent me. And then also that other one, the Ford Focus you did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I made balloons. So besides making mechanical and making balloons, I learned to make shape. Shape, getting past the round balloon, just the inflated bladder, was really a big deal. They hadn't done, nobody did it much. And if you use Mylar, which is now ubiquitous, you can make a shape. And so I learned to make three-dimensional shapes with 2 sheets of material on a flat table.
Nice.
And so doing that, I made Stars in Motion for the 84 Olympics, which was the theme was, Stars in Motion, of course. And we released them, for when the ceremony, the grand opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies, and these things were like 20, 30, 40-foot stars, and we'd release them up, and the crowd just goes nuts,
That's awesome.
And my professors at Cal State Long Beach, I went to them and said, "What do I do now? Now they bought this stuff. Now what do I do?" And they had all the names and addresses. Those guys educated half of Hollywood, so they had all these, that kind of talent exists, and they knew where it was. And I got good advice, and then I spent, from 1984 to 99, 2000, I worked for the National Endowment for the Arts and the Arizona Commission on the Arts, and I traveled around to schools all through the country, 85 different schools, making balloons with the kids, teaching air toys and aerodynamics.
That's so cool, man.
Helium balloons and meteorology. And, you got to be a paper tiger if you want to get a grant. So I just, and I had great responses. I really did. The kids go nuts for it. Their balloon would deflate. It was just a pile of foil, and they'd take it home and be so proud and show their mom that pile of foil. It was once something, and they knew it.
Yeah, right.
But just that, it was a big boost for the kids.
Yeah.
In terms of.
That's huge. You don't know how many kids like you might become famous designers or artists because of that little thing you did with them, And
Yep.
some of them may have been their peak memory too, core memories for them.
Yeah. And some of them, went on to use it for other things. But I kept track. Had all during that time I had offers. I made some of the first stents for heart operations, balloon stents. You put it in your artery and pump it up so they can open it up a little bit to get more blood through. And I made camera balloons, and they put them up on the sides of the roads to stop the planting of IUDs. It worked for a while till they figured out they're just balloons. But yeah, I got feedback for a while. They said, yeah, it works, but now they figured it out.
Yeah. What year was it that you decided you were going to do fire here and stuff like that? Fire department stuff here.
Oh, it wasn't. I didn't really want to be a fireman at first, but I was a medic in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have a medical unit here, so I started the EMTs here in Jerome, and we ended up getting an ambulance and having educated guys, and we still have a response up here, a small station.
Yeah, it's a cool station.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that in another video we can go walk up there and we'll take,
Sure.
my subscribers and stuff and people on YouTube to go check it out. Because
Sure.
It's a really cool building, I think.
Yeah, well, it wasn't built with taxes either.
Yeah.
It was built by firemen getting money. We had picnics, we had dances, we had you name it.
Grinding at it.
All
to get
kinds
money.
and you know, we raised $1 million. This 27, 30 men on this fire department raised $1 million, and the town kicked in a few bucks. But we raised the money for that station.
What year was it built? Do you remember?
74. I don't know. It's on the front of it.
Oh, okay. When we go by, I'll put that on there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's on the front. You'll see a thing looks like a big thermometer. That was where we're showing the amount of money we had.
The progress
from the funding.
That's freaking cool, man. Well, Gary, I think I'm gonna cut it right there, and I just want to thank you for inviting me to your birthday drink, man. That was awesome.
Thanks, Happy. Thanks for being here.
I really appreciate everything, and I do think we'll be doing this more, and I know that we're just barely touching like little bits of everything. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, Gary is such an interesting person. Like, how much did you say you ride, Gary, your bike per year you were doing?
10,000 miles a year, but look at it. There's no cars.
Yeah.
I mean there are now. Now you've got to worry. And I ride select roads, but yeah, you just ride your heart out. Ride your frown off.
Yeah, right. And he's just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm gonna keep picking his brain and getting all the stories I can from him. And so you guys can expect some more hangouts. And if you have any specific questions, do you have a website or anything, Gary, by chance? I know you don't kind of do stuff like that.
I had a company called balloonkits.com, and I sold educational toolkits, and I sold it to the Chinese in 2016 because you know, I needed a life. I was the chief cook and bottle washer. I did everything, you know.
Right.
So I sold it to the Chinese, and I don't know if you saw those spy balloons coming across Canada and stuff last year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody was talking about them.
The same company.
Oh really? Using an American stuff against them.
Well, you know, they're great copiers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they're. I mean, I think some of them are good innovators. They do a lot now, but it seemed like they copied me.
Yeah. Well, what is that saying? They say something about copying is the best
form of flattery. Yeah. Well, it's true.
There you go.
I mean, yeah. When is a Jeep a Jeep? When it's a Ford?
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on one other thing. Gary has pretty much written the entire book, right? So he's looking for a reputable publisher that he can trust and stuff, because it hasn't yet been copyrighted and everything, so it can't be released to the public for that reason. So if any of you guys have a connection in that form, or somebody who may be interested in helping them out and doing that, let's get that thing published and let's make you rich, man, off your stories.
I'm rich.
You are. Look it.
Rich isn't money.
That's it right there, right?
Yeah, that's it. This was the dump. This was a discarded property.
Yeah.
Look out here. You see the glass chips on that hill? This is the dump.
Oh yeah. That's the old dump, huh? Man, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, nobody wanted it but an old vet.
Telling you, man, the stories are never going to end with this guy. It's great.